We just received a massive update about $2,000 President Donald J. Trump's stimulus checks to millions of low and middle income Americans. I'm going to tell you about it in just a minute. But at the same time, President Donald J. Trump just signed a historical bill. That's great. And we don't use auto pens here. Laughter. It's a great achievement. Okay, wait a minute. There you go. Thank you, sir. I'm going to tell you about this very important and historical bill that President Donald J. Trump signed in just a moment. But look at this. When will we get the $2,000 tariff dividend payment? And Congress update is finally here. We've been waiting for this for quite a long time, and we finally have the details that you all have been waiting for. And one more detail and update that I would like to give you as surging gas prices worsens affordability crisis for Americans. And that's why this $2,000 stimulus dividend check is so important. Well, before I begin, all I need is just a little favor. Takes 2 seconds to please hit that like button on this video. So, without any further ado, let's begin. $2,000 stimulus checks to millions of low and middle income Americans. President Donald J. Trump confirmed that these checks are going to Americans no matter what. Look at this. Are we really getting $2,000 stimulus checks? The recent attention on stimulus checks follows a November 9th post by President Donald J. Trump on Truth Social, in which the president raved about the success of American tariffs and wrote that a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. This is a great news because President Trump repeated this over and over and over again, not just in that post, but in the interview with One American News as well. He talked to the reporters numerous times, and he said that these checks are going to Americans, and we are going to give a nice dividend to Americans, and we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people in addition to reducing debt. We're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people in addition to reducing debt. Well, it's final that these checks are going to Americans. Now, the biggest question is when. Well, you need to understand the details are out because President Donald J. Trump recently revealed the timeline as well as the eligibility criteria of these $2,000 checks to millions of Americans. First, look at this. White House Press Secretary Caroline Lever told reporters a few days later that the proposal is real, that the president is committed to sending Americans a $2,000 dividend checks from tariff revenue. And it means that the White House fully supports this $2,000 check to millions of low-end middle-income Americans. Should U.S. citizens expect a $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen? The White House is committed to making that happen. Yes. And we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen, and so his team of economic advisors are looking into it. And when we have an update, we'll provide one. The White House is committed to make it a reality. This is what Caroline Levitt said, and it actually left everyone stunned that what just happened. It means that President Trump and White House both are on the same page. Means the Republican Party fully supports these $2,000 checks. Look at this. The Wall Street Journal reported that the Trump administration plans to ask Congress to authorize the checks. And this is important. Well, these checks needs congressional approval. First from the House, then from the Senate, and then this bill will go to President Donald J. Trump's desk for final approval. Look at this. Republican Congress members, however, has said the details of Trump's proposal remain unclear, and they haven't seen an aggressive push from the White House, according to the Journal. Well, let me just tell you that not just once, not twice. Well, President Donald J. Trump said numerous times that millions of Americans are going to receive these nice dividend checks. Well, you need to understand that there is a reason behind it according to a number of analysts and experts. And the reason is simple. Recent losses in the election. Well, that's what a number of analysts and experts are saying. And the reason that President Donald J. Trump is going to send these $2,000 checks and he will send those checks to Americans is to actually regain the trust of millions of Americans right before the midterm election. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with this? And if you support these $2,000 checks from President Donald J. Trump, then write in the comment section, "I support $2,000 check." Again, if you support it, Then write in the comment section, "I support $2,000 check." Because remember, if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Moving on with the details. Who is eligible for tariff dividend checks? A question that a number of you always ask us in the comment section. And here's the answer. On Monday, November the 17th, Trump vote to issue dividend checks to individuals of moderate income. Who that entails is unclear. Pure Research Center defines the 2024 middle class as households earning $55,820 to $167,460 based on the national median income. But you need to understand that few months ago, a Republican Josh Hawley introduced a bill with the approval of President Donald J. Trump known as American Worker Rebate Act. Under that act, similar sort of checks were proposed, but the amount was different, right? There was 600, and now President Trump is talking about 2,000. Well, a number of analysts and experts are saying that all the details of these $2,000 checks will be taken from that bill. And under that bill, anyone who makes $100,000 and less is eligible for $600. So it means that anyone who makes $100,000 and less is going to be eligible for this $2,000 check. And one more thing that you need to understand. A number of people commented on our videos. What about seniors? What about low-income households? What about people who are on fixed income such as Social Security and disability benefits? Let me just tell you, it doesn't matter what you receive. It doesn't matter what you make. Even if you make $0, you belong to the low and middle income category. So you are going to get these $2,000 checks. This is what a number of analysts and experts are saying. And if we take the details from the American Worker Rebate Act, it seems highly likely that millions of people who are on fixed income and who make no income at all for certain reasons, they are going to be eligible to receive this $2,000 check. So please keep this in mind. Moving on with the details. When will I get the $2,000 tariff check? This is a very important question. The White House has not released an exact timeline for the proposed stimulus checks. On Monday, November 17th, Trump vote to issue dividend checks sometime in 2026 before the midterms. This would require congressional approval, which isn't guaranteed. You need to understand that a number of analysts and experts are saying that these checks will go to Americans real soon. But Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, recently said that these checks could go to Americans in the first 3 months of 2026. So it could be right after New Year, or probably near to Valentine's Day in February or during the March break. Let me know in the comments below. When do you think that President Donald J. will send these checks? According to a number of analysts and experts, he will send those checks right before the midterm election next year. So it's going to be in the middle of next year so he can regain the trust of millions of Americans. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about it? Well, do any congressional members support the $2,000 tariff checks? This is very important. Not every Republican Congress member expressed a desire to spend tariff revenue on the national debt rather than stimulus check. So when you ask these members to send billions and billions of dollars to other nations so they can survive and thrive, they will actually pass those bills overnight. But when it comes to sending money to struggling Americans, they are not ready for it. This is what a number of analysts and experts are saying. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with this point of view? Do you agree that when it comes to sending money to Americans, these congressmen always comes with a number of excuses, but when it comes to giving billions of dollars to other nations, they pass those bills overnight? Well, it seems like a reality. Moving on with the details, according to the Wall Street Journal, Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley waved away deficit talk from his colleagues, saying that they don't express the same concern about the debt when it comes to tax policies that favor the wealthy. Hawley proposed the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025 in late July. This is what I was talking about. The act would provide $600 tariff rebates to most Americans and their dependent child, or $2,400 for a family of 4. According to The Hill, the bill was referred to Senate committee, but there were no updates on it as of September. This is super important. You need to understand that when it comes to that bill, congressmen like Bernie Moreno said that we will never let this bill pass. This bill will never pass. We have $37 trillion worth of debt. We'll take care of the debt first. Then we'll go and we might think about these $2,000. Actually, at that time, it was $600 from Josh Hawley. So we might think about $600. But there is no way that we'll let this bill pass. And we are talking about the $600 amount. Now it's $2,000. Just imagine, Americans are struggling. Millions of Americans are unable to put 3 meals a day for themselves and their loved ones. And now these congressmen are saying that no, we have $37 trillion worth of that. We'll take care of that first. And if Americans are struggling, well, we'll deal with this later. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this whole situation? Well, if you support these $2,000 checks, again, write in the comment section, I support $2,000 checks because remember, if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Now, let me just tell you about the historical bill that President Donald J. Trump signed is the gold medal for 1980 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team. President Donald J. Trump held a bill signing ceremony for the 1980 U.S. men's Olympic hockey team, also known as the Miracle on Ice team, awarding each member the Congressional Gold Medal for their achievements. This is very important. We should always take care of our legends. And this is a real example, and indeed, this is a historical signing from President Donald J. Trump. If you have any questions at all, then please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer each and every question of yours, as Credit Vital channel will always be with you in your good and difficult times. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video very soon.